Buenos dias, fellow people. I'm here to do a vinyl update, showing some vinyl and some assorted things, as usual. No, my head's not on fire. That's the incense back there. Glad to see everyone once again. I have not forgotten you. I hope I have not been forgotten. I don't do videos as regular as I probably should, because I'm a slacker like that. But starting off with this video, some CDs here first. I'd never seen this CD, and I guess it's one of their, probably the most recent one. This came out in 2000, so they might have another one since then. It's called Bedlam Ballroom by the Squirrel Nut Zippers. This is a great band, by the way. I have 3 or 4 of their CDs. And you might recognize their first single off their first album was just called Hell. But if you're not familiar with the Squirrel Nut Zippers, you know, why? Why aren't you? It's sort of like a swing. It was part of the swing revival, I guess, in the 90s. You know, those bands like Brian Setzer Orchestra sort of started that. And then you had the Cherry Poppin' Daddies and the, what was that other group? It was sort of popular. I'm spacing out on that, but I space out quite frequently. And then this one was really awesome to find. This would be great to find on vinyl. It probably doesn't exist that way. The Early Sounds of Garage Rock. This is 2 CDs. And I don't know, actually it might be on vinyl. It just depends on the distribution, I suppose. But this has, I'll read some of the track listing here in a minute. But it has, I thought this was the one that had, yeah, this has, I'm assuming all of this is old material as far as like older bands. Because Surfin' Bird by the Trashmen is on here, and of course that sets the whole tone. That's the last track on disc 2. But then you also have the Frogmen, the Frantics, Screamin' Lord Sutch, the Ventures, the Tarantulas, the Rivingtons, the Kingsmen, the Rocketeens, with that song Woohoo. You've heard that in car commercials, or commercials in general. But the Surfmen, the Teen Beats, the Champs, Paul Revere and the Raiders. So yeah, it's really good. I got this, it was like $6 or $7 at half price. Brand new. And then this one also, 40 Hell-Raising Rockabilly Classics on 2 CDs. Rockabilly from Hell. And these were the ones that I had mentioned in my last video that if they have them when I go back, I'll probably get them. Or this one was, not the other one. They didn't have the other one last time. And they still had a couple more that I didn't get. Because, you know, I just can't buy everything. Some of the tracks on this one, or some of the artists rather. Link Ray and his Ray Men. The Ramrods. Freddie and the Hitchhikers, Screamin' Jay Hawkins, Jackie Morningstar, a song called Rockin' in the Graveyard. That's a great song. I have that on something else. The Vampires, Sheb Woolley doing Purple People Eater. Everyone out there probably knows that song. Screamin' Lord Sutch is on this one too. So yeah. And then this one, we were record shopping. And I want to say, in the past 2 weeks, I've been to a record store 3 times. Everybody's Records twice. And then this past weekend, we went to Magnolia Thunderpussy, which is in Columbus. We went to a bunch of different places, and that was one of the places we went. So anyway, babbling on and on. the second time I was at Everybody's, I looked through all the CDs, like the used CDs that they had, which I normally don't do that. For some reason, I don't know why. And this was on my wish list on Amazon, but it was $5.99 at Everybody's. The Ramones, Acid Eaters. This was their covers album. And some of the songs are obscure, some of them aren't. But, I mean, it's okay. It's the Ramones, so how could it can't be bad. Let's see, some of the tracks that I was familiar with before I bought it. Journey to the Center of the Mind, Substitute, The Shape of Things to Come, Somebody to Love, Seven and Seven Is, Can't Seem to Make You Mine. That's a great song. I had to look that artist up because I'd heard the song. I wasn't sure of the artist. I can't remember who it is now. Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Surf City. But it's got 12 tracks on it altogether, and it was definitely worth $5.99 just because it was the Ramones. So, on to the vinyl. This one I picked up a little while ago. I was at half price one day, and I think I had looked at all of the DVDs and stuff because that's usually what I first look at when I go in there. And I had already looked at all the regular priced ones, and then I had there's like a shelf below that has clearance DVDs, and I was looking at those, and I had just finished looking at those, and I stood up, and the records are right above it, and I stood up, and staring me right in the face is like, what? Oh my God. I mean, it's a reissue, but I don't care. This was on my wish list for a long time. Never thought I'd ever see it. And someone had posted on, I don't know what it was, on a Facebook page or something, that they'd have found like 4 or 5 copies of this, there might have been more, at a thrift store of all places, originals. And it's like, what? You never find one. How can you find that many? But anyway, it's Les Baxter with Space Escapade. Reissue, 180 gram. Awesome. Yeah, this is one of those records that you just, for me at least, I mean, all the space age stuff, I was so into that in the 90s. And it's just black vinyl. There's the label. But I was so into that in the 90s that, and easy listening and all that stuff, I was snatching up records left and right. I mean, that's when I started going to thrift stores like a madman. And there was this one Goodwill that I used to go to. I think it was called like the Last Chance, or I don't remember what it was. It was like a warehouse. I don't know what they did with the stuff after that. It didn't sell there, but it came from other Goodwills. Is the way it was explained to me. And sometimes they'd have sales like once a month and the records were like, I don't know if they were 20 cents or 10 cents for an album. And I remember standing in line several times with my arms like this, stacked all the way up to my chin. So that's that's how obsessed I was. And I used to do that pretty much every month. They were on sale, and then a couple times when they weren't. But of course I was buying mostly easy listening, but it didn't matter. Still doesn't matter because, I mean, there's plenty of that around here. Recently, like I said, we went to, let me get these in order here. Okay, that's from that. That's from that. Okay. That's been the only one I got. Yeah. I had some CDs over there, but I'll show those in the next video. When we went to Columbus this past weekend, I only bought one album. It's a double album. The Flanders Broadcast, 1996. The Cramps, Hanky Panky. I just posted this, I think, yesterday on my Facebook page. My YouTube channel, Facebook page, this channel. And I listened to this yesterday. It's really good. But, I mean, it's the Cramps. Why wouldn't it be? And this has, from what I think it actually says, no, it's just, okay, it says tracks 1 through 17 was an FM live broadcast from Belgium in '96, and then tracks 18 through 22 was a live broadcast from Amsterdam, Netherlands in 1990. So, like I said, it's a double album. It's just black vinyl. I have to look to make sure because my memory is just, it's so great. So yeah, I listened to this yesterday, and it has a lot of good tracks on here. Not that any of them's bad. The Mad Daddy, The Way I Walk, the title track. Big Black Witchcraft Rock, Papa Satan Sang Louie, TV Set, Psychotic Reaction, and it also has interviews on here too. So it's really a great record. If you see that, that's the first time I'd ever seen it. So I don't know how many of these were pressed. It's on Parachute. Came out in 2018. So, and then my first trip to Everybody's, I'd seen this, and it's like, okay, I have to have that. The King is Back, the Cramps. And this is, they're 300 copies only and no repress, it says. So when I seen that, they had a few there. They must have just got them in. And like I said, I'd never seen those before either. So this is black vinyl. There's the label. Same as the cover. So I don't know, there's some bands, being like the Cramps are, that when I see something, just have to have it. Now it's funny because I was buying their studio albums for a while, and I accumulated, I don't know how many they've had, but I've accumulated a few, and I've seen them numerous times since then, and I'm just like, I don't know, it's probably the album cover, as stupid as that is, that the reason I haven't bought it. Anyway, this came out in 2015, and it says here in the corner, it says, "It ain't easy being breezy." You see that? Probably can't. But yeah, the Cramps. And this track, some of the tracks on here are Leper and the Prostitute, Aloha from Hell, A Date with Elvis, Do the Clam, The Dawn of Rock and Roll, Teenage Rock and Roll Monster. That's pretty great. And this has interviews and stuff on there too with Lux and Ivy both, and it's really great. I need to listen to that one again. But yeah, I listened to that one yesterday too. And then these, I'd picked these up. I already have copies of these, and I made a Holy Grail, or an Unholy Grail video back at our other place before we moved, because that's when I'd picked them up. It's on my channel somewhere if you want to try to find it. And it's something that I'll do the quick story again. When I was in high school, I had a friend named Steve. Hi, Steve. And he bought their first album on cassette, just based on looks, I guess, because we had never heard the band before. He hadn't, or I hadn't. I guess none of us have, because they were fairly new at that time. That was the only album they had, I think, which came out in '84, I think it was. And so he bought it, brought it home, listened to it, hated it. He said, "You want this?" Well, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take anything. And it became one of my favorite, not just albums, but favorite bands. And it was this one, Possessed, Seven Churches. And like I said, I have a copy of this already. But this one was extra cool. The one I have, I think, is embossed. And I don't know if it actually says this on it, or if it's just in black. I have to get it out and compare them. But this one's on Combat, see, which was the original label. Although it's been reissued by Century Media, it's not an actual original. But I thought it was cool because it's totally different than the one that I have. I mean, the music's the same. But, it's just like some albums, some bands, you just have to have every variation you can get. I don't know why that is, but And then it comes with the insert, which is the same as the album cover, and then this side, which is the same as the gatefold. And then the vinyl, just in a white sleeve. But the vinyl itself it says Coke bottle clear. It was the description. And it's really cool. It sort of does look like a Coke bottle. So, yeah, I had to have it. I just had to have it because I'd went there my first trip, and I'd went back second time, and I kept thinking about it the whole time, and I'm thinking, if it's still there when I go back, I am buying it. They had 2 copies, but they were 2 different copies. They had this one, which was on Combat reissue. Actually, it's on Century Media reissue. And then they had another variation, which was a different, I don't know exactly what it was from. But then I also picked this one up, Beyond the Gates, which I have this too. Now this one is quite a bit different because my other copy, it splits down the middle, and these are flaps that open up. This one does not do that, and this was the one I originally wanted because I ordered those other Possessed ones online originally, and I'm pretty sure I did. So, and when it came like that, it's like, I don't really like that at all. But this one is a little different. It says Beyond the Gates right there below the logo, and then there's some liner notes on the back. So this was the one I wanted for sure. And this one, I don't know if you can see this vinyl or not. It is, I think it's lilac, opaque. I don't think you can see it, but it's got like little tinges of blue and red on it through both sides. I know you can't see it, but anyway, and I'd listened to both of these yesterday. Of course, I've heard them several times. I have the CDs too, but yeah, those are 2 that I really. Let's see what I kept the hype sticker here. I'll read what it says. I kept the hype one on that one too. It says, yeah, it's opaque purple vinyl gatefold. So, pretty awesome. And there's an ongoing debate for fans. Who was the first death metal band? Was it Possessed, or was it the band Death? Some people say it was one, some people say it was the other one, because on Possessed Seven Churches album, they have a song called Death Metal, and according to the lead singer, that was the first time that had been used in a song, or as the title of the song, and they describe themselves as a death metal band. But I also consider them to be a thrash metal band. It won't come out now. Also consider them to be a thrash metal band. And back in the 80s, I wasn't really into a lot of like obscure stuff. I mean, compared to a lot of other people. Compared to other people in my school, I was. But compared to real metalheads, I wasn't, as far as variety. So I wasn't aware of the band Death at that time. So I don't have that argument, that one was this and one was that. The only one I knew was Possessed. I had recently, not so recently, but a few years ago, discovered Death and their music, and I think they're a great band. Very similar. I could see why people would, make those comparisons, but ramble. Yeah. So I haven't made a video for a while, so I'm allowed to stretch this out, am I not? And then, let's see, the first time I went to Everybody's, when me and Kat went, I picked this up because it looked really super interesting. Satan's Pilgrims. I'd heard some songs of theirs before. Franken's Stomp. This is a double album. I posted this yesterday too. Actually, I posted Everything I've showed so far, I think I've posted on my Facebook. Fernando's Vinyl Hideaway Facebook page. This is like instrumental surf music, I guess is how I would describe it. It says singles, rarities, and more, 93 to 2014. And this one's just black vinyl. There's the custom label. And this band, I don't know if this band is still together or not, but this is the kind of stuff I really, really like, is instrumental stuff that sounds really creepy, for lack of a better word. But yeah, some of the song titles. Sleepwalk. Psychosploitation. Monster Surfing Time. Rise and Fall of Flingle Bunt. Sukiyaki. Shape of Things to Come. So yeah, that was a really cool find, I thought. They had a couple other their records, but my thing is, why not pay the same price for a record of the same band and get a double album with more songs on it? Plus, that's sort of like a greatest hits type, because it's all singles, rarities, and more. So, and then this one, I could kick myself, and it's amazing that I actually finally got this record. We were at Everybody's one day shopping, and I'd had a stack of records, of course, and whatever else. Went up to pay for it, paid for them, got home, and I was missing one. It's like, oh my God, what did I do with that? What did I do with that record? Did I lay it down somewhere? That's what I did. I laid it down somewhere. So the last time we were there, or the time before that, Kat had seen it when she was looking through the soundtracks. And it's like, oh my God, I have to get it this time because I was going to get it last time. The Demons soundtrack picture disc. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. If you haven't seen this movie and you like scary movies, if you like cheesy movies, it's definitely that. But here's the backside. Such a great movie. Oh, go ahead and take it out. It's directed by Lamberto Bava. Bava? This is the 30th anniversary edition. It's hard to get it out of these plastic. So now I just need to get the second one. We're going to a horror convention, so maybe they'll have the second one. There's the... be careful. There's the back. That's the mask that they wear in the video, or in the movie. But yeah, Demons. And this is the score, basically. Eating hair. This is the score, basically. They have a lot of rock and metal on the soundtrack. And I don't know if that's a different soundtrack or if it's never been released like that. But this one just has... it's just instrumental, like synthesizer-y stuff, like supposed to be scary. It's so great. So yeah, this came out on Rustblade Deep Red Records. So yeah, Demons. What a great movie. Soundtrack's great too. And the last one I got to show here in this video, this was the first record I picked up at Everybody's when we went. I'd never seen it before, never heard of it. It's called Nat Friedland, The Occult Explosion. It's a double album. I don't know what that's supposed to be there. Looks like a skull of some sort. On the back it is. Well, yeah, it's a crystal skull on the front, looks like. Double album. And this is used, and it has this book with it. These pages. It's, you know, built into the book. show one of the records. Just black vinyl, just a regular type of record on United Artists. But I'd seen it, and because I'd never seen it before, and then I started reading it, it's got, let's see, where can I, it's a cutout here in the corner. A lot of the records used to be cutouts. But it has different sections in here. The first one, it says research. These are the categories, or the different tracks rather. Yoga, witchcraft, Satanism, psychics, spiritualism, astrology, UFOs, Indian magic. And then I guess some of the people that, I'm assuming this is like a talking record. I'm assuming these are interviews. I see a picture of Anton LaVey here. And let's see, anybody else that I recognize right off. About the creator, it goes into a list of the creator, Nat Friedland. I don't recognize some of these other people in here, but I'm sure it's really unusual. Rosemary Brown, that name sounds familiar. It says, if you want to know more about the Occult Explosion and the fascinating people who make it happen, get Nat Friedland's The Occult Explosion in Berkeley paperback at your book dealer. Send $1. But let's see, this came out in, I want to say it was probably the 70s by the looks of it. I don't see a date on it. So anyway, I haven't listened to this yet, but I'm sure that's going to be interesting to listen to. So that's all I got in this video. I know it was a long one, but I had some cool stuff to show, so hope you stuck with me. Thanks for watching, subscribing, and please subscribe. If you're not a subscriber of my channel, go to my Facebook and like my page. I post, the videos I make here and the vinyl I'm listening to, blah, 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 etc. and so on over there. And we'll see you in the next vinyl update.